Farmhand, Part 2, The Sessions. Days passed, but our nights stayed the same. Slow, reverent, pulsing with something I couldn't quite name. I'd never been religious growing up, but when I was in that barn gym with Ethan, palms tracing the valleys between his abs or cupping the sheer mass of his quads, it felt like prayer. It always started with silence. Ethan would step into the space, tank top already discarded, gym shorts hanging low on his hips. His body was a map of dedication, bronzed skin stretched tight over muscle that pulsed and flexed with each breath. He stood before me like an offering. "I'm ready," he'd say, eyes lowered, voice soft. "Strip," I'd answer, and he'd obey, slowly, methodically, leaving only his tight compression shorts. His chest would rise with anticipation, and I could see it in his eyes. He needed this. Not just the admiration, but the surrender. That night, I made him pose. "Double bicep," I said, standing close, watching the way his back arched, arms raised, fists clenched. His muscles surged, full and veiny, and I circled him slowly, letting my fingers graze along the ridges of his delts, the deep grooves in his triceps. "You're incredible," I whispered, "like you were carved from stone." He shivered. I stepped in closer, dragging both palms across his flexed abs, each slab thick and solid. He tensed, and they popped even harder. I could feel the power vibrating under my skin. "Harder," I said. He growled low in his throat and flexed deeper, his entire torso locking into a ripple of tension. The veins in his arms bulged, and his pecs twitched under the strain. "Touch me everywhere," he breathed. "Use me." And I did. I made him pose again. Side chest, most muscular, back lat spread. With each one, I praised him like he was a work of divine engineering. "You were built for this, Ethan." He groaned, the sound raw. "Say more, please." "You were made to be admired," I said, standing behind him now, hands on either side of his thick waist. "You were made to be worshipped." I slid my hands upward, over his obliques, along the curve of his lats, up to the boulders of his shoulders. I squeezed, hard, feeling the tension vibrate through my fingertips. Ethan moaned like I was feeding him energy. "I live for this," he said hoarsely. "For your praise. It makes me feel real." That stopped me. I stepped around in front of him, heart thudding. His eyes were dark and wide, his chest rising and falling. "You don't feel real unless someone tells you?" He swallowed. "I spend so much time building this body, but when I'm alone, it just feels like armor. When you look at me the way you do, touch me the way you do, it's like it finally has purpose." I placed a hand on his chest. His heart was hammering beneath it. "I don't just see the muscle," I said quietly. "I see you, and I like what I see." His mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. Instead, he dropped to his knees. "I want to give you everything," he whispered. That night, I guided him through a session that was more ritual than workout. I made him flex for me, slow and intense. I took my time, running my hands over every inch of him. I mapped his chest with my thumbs, kneaded his traps with firm hands, let my fingers explore every line of his shredded core. His body responded to praise like a flower to sunlight. "Look at your quads," I muttered, crouching, pressing both hands to the dense vascular slabs. "Each one's like a tree trunk." He moaned, flexing harder. "Worship them." I leaned in, not to kiss, just to feel. My cheek brushed the heat of his quad, and I whispered, "You're so strong it's unreal. No one could ever match you." His breathing hitched. His hand dropped to my shoulder, as if he needed the grounding. "Tell me what to do," he begged softly. I looked up at him. "Stay still. Flex everything. Let me honor you." And he did. He stood like a statue, muscles clenched, body trembling from the strain of holding it all at once. And I worshipped, hands roving from calves to shoulders, abs to pecs. I murmured praises with every touch, and he drank it in like water in a desert. When the session ended, I helped him to the floor. He lay back, spent but glowing, and I rested beside him in the hay-dusted gym. "I've never let anyone in like this," he said after a long silence. "I've never felt this close to anyone," I answered. His fingers found mine, calloused, warm. "I don't want this to be just a summer thing," he said, barely above a whisper. I looked over at him, muscles relaxed now, face soft. "Me neither." Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time here with me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps a lot. And if you want to see the next part, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it when it drops. I've got more coming soon, and I can't wait to share it with you. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.